Hello everyone, it's afternoon 1:30 and it's snowing again. The weather's just awful, I can't get out to see Alfie. I've rung this morning, I shall ring this evening. He's apparently fine and his chest is clearing up a little bit, but the weather's really bad. My son's work is a 10-minute drive away from where he lives, and it took him almost an hour this morning to get there. So, pretty bad. I've got a few things I want to say and I haven't quite known where to start really. So, I'll start in regard to a couple of videos I watched, and they're talking about Islam and the influx into this country of so many Muslims now. And yes, they are outbreeding us. And yes, many of them want Sharia law implemented. And those who say that they don't won't have much choice once or if their friends get into power in some way. We've got a Lord Mayor in London who is Muslim. We've got a Lord Mayor in Oxford who is Muslim. We've got a Lord Mayor in Leeds who is Muslim. We've got a Lord Mayor in Birmingham who is Muslim. Is this what we fought 2 world wars for? To see the country being taken over by Islam, which is an ideology. It isn't just a religion. It's a political movement. It's an ideology. They want to impose their way of life and their culture on the West. They're doing it quite effectively in some parts of England. We even have a judge who, when he took the oath, he took it with his hand on the Quran. And when people walk into his courtroom, they are also, it's insisted upon that they say an Islamic prayer. I'm Catholic, not a practicing Catholic, and if I was going to veer towards anything, as you know, it's Buddhism, which isn't a religion. But I think of all that's happening in this country now, our ancestors fought 2 world wars together with our friends, the Americans, the Australians, you know, not forgetting the Thais and other people who came in, and the Polish who fought along with us to stop Germany taking over the world with their autocratic rule. And now we have the Muslims taking over the world, not only with an autocratic rule and a fist of steel, but with a culture that I will never accept. I lived and worked in Saudi Arabia for a while. One of the big mistakes of my life. And, you know, each time I came home to Alfie and at Hijab, yes, we made some money. Alfie didn't want me to go and I shouldn't have gone. I suppose I was spreading my wings, but it certainly opened my eyes up to how things were. And I'm talking, you know, a lot of years ago now. A lot of years ago, over 20 years ago. You know, I've seen a goat whose throat has been cut on the street in Riyadh. I haven't been to any of the punishments in what they call Chop Chop Square, but people who I worked with, Westerners, Americans, there was one American man, and he went to watch a beheading, and he came back and he was sick, physically, emotionally, and I remember saying to him, what did you expect? Did you go to be entertained? You know, seeing somebody lose their life in that way. Barbaric. Are we going to allow them to impose that here in England? Most of you will know, I'm just looking here at some notes I wrote, which I don't really need to refer to, but you know, most of you know, my father was born in Dublin, my mother was born in Tipperary. My grandfather was in the army. My uncle was a pilot in the Air Force during World War II. My brothers were in the army. Alfie was in the army for 9 years before I met him. And what have they fought for? They fought for our country to be taken over in such a manner. The suffragettes, women who fought and gave their lives, they were force-fed in jails. The one woman threw herself under a horse at the races to bring the plight of women to notice and show that we were adamant that we were going to get the vote. We women nowadays now need to honour that commitment. The suffragettes fought for us. Are we going to give all that away? Because women will have no rights. You know, growing up in the 50s and 60s, yes, I've written here, you know, 50s and 60s, which were my growing up period, 60s, we didn't realise how lucky we were. We could do what we liked. Boys could mix with the girls. That's not going to be allowed. You know, I'm talking as though it's going to happen. And you know why? I'm talking because we're now becoming outnumbered, because we now have all these Muslim mayors in place. The London mayor, who is dictating that Donald Trump shouldn't come to Britain, to the United Kingdom. Who the fuck does he think he is? You know, America is our biggest ally. And whether you agree with Trump or whether you don't, he's their representative. And we've got a little pipsqueak saying he shouldn't be welcome to the UK. Sorry, most of us disagree with it. Was I going to say anything else? Oh yeah, only that I'm going to post a link that I have to thank Brick Girl for, because I read it, saw this video on her channel. I'm sure she won't mind my stealing it. And I'm going to post a link to a video which, if you listen to it, the man isn't a racist, as I'm not. He's a realist. He's pragmatic. And he's saying what most people in this country believe, in that welcome people into your home, welcome people into your homeland, but ask the people first whether they are welcome, and ask the people also whether they would be happy with them if they're welcomed into your house, taking over your house, making you obey their rules, taking over your homeland and making you obey their rules. I think you'll find that most people in the UK, in Poland, in Australia, in America, they would say no, we don't agree with that. Vehemently, we don't agree with that. So I'm going to post this video and I'll be back a little later with something a little bit more light-hearted, because I've got very little to do today. I haven't gone to see Alfie. I've got things I should be doing, but I don't want to. So I'll come back a little bit later and make another video. Okay, bye-bye.